grocery items, trust low-cost supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high-quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low-cost supermarket, Southern Main Road, Cunupia.
Great news! With Trinidad Fresh, you get 70% real fruit juice, and it's available in fruit punch, orange, and apple.
Trinidad Fresh. Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all our viewers there on IBN with us and all of you on our C results page. Of course, I am Miss Nyla and I will be doing today's episode of Creative Writing. You know, it's Tuesday. On a Tuesday, we have Creative Writing, we have ELA back to back. You know, it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of note-taking. So be prepared, have your notes ready, have your notepad ready, your iPad ready, whatever you have in front of you, okay? Just get ready to learn. So as you know, for creative writing, we started with paragraph writing and sentence types. So, right, so this is for you at home. Right behind me here, you can probably take a quick skim through. If you have been following us, this is what we have been doing. For those of you who are now joining us, welcome to our new viewers. And this is what you have missed. Now, just remember, guys, all of these videos are available for you to go back and you to rewatch. Also, replays are every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday right here on IBN from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So this here is what we have done so far. So we're not wasting any time. We are getting you prepared for SEA. You know, SEA is a very short time away, and we want to maximize this time for you, you know, to gain most benefit from it. So we already discussed the 4 types of sentences. We went through analyzing a paragraph. In that, we spoke about the main idea, supporting details, and concluding sentence. Before we move forward with this slide, I just want to let you all know that a couple of you can look out later on this same segment here. Ijaz is coming on, and he's going to be highlighting a few submissions from students. So please look out for your names, who might be the lucky submission today, right? So that is for that assignment which we had up on Edmodo, where you had to submit a piece on paragraph writing. But I'm not going to sell it out too much. Just keep watching with us. We also went through sentence structures. So we know that sentences can be simple, compound, or complex. We learned, and we have already started learning ways to extend or expand sentences. And we can extend sentences by using adjectives and adverbs. And then there are different ways we can join sentences, which we are still in the process of learning. So we talked about using conjunctions to join sentences, as well as we started with relative pronouns to join sentences as well. Last day, we had to run through relative pronouns a bit quickly, so today that is what we're going to start up with. So we just need to be a little patient. I know some of you already know this. If you were viewing last day, some of you would have internalized that already. But please be mindful, there are the students, and we want all students to get the maximum benefit, like I said, and to actually be able to use this knowledge gained in application of writing. Remember, creative writing is all about writing. You need to practice in order to get it perfect. It's going to take a lot of practice, I must tell you. You know, some of you find it very tedious, but you know what? It's going to pay off in the end when you see 20 out of 20 in your creative writing, whether it's narrative or expository in your C results, right? And that's exactly what we are hoping to achieve. So we are on the topic of relative pronouns. What are we discussing in relative pronouns? What do we need to know about relative pronouns? Last day we already started with this discussion, and we said this is another way in which we can join sentences. So another way was conjunctions, using conjunctions to join sentences. This way is through relative pronouns. You can use relative pronouns to join sentences. And we already went through all of these. Just a little recap. We're going to go through just these 5 relative pronouns which we are accustomed to in our writing. So which is who, which is used to refer to persons, whom, also used to refer to persons, whose, used to show possession, which, used to refer to animals and things, that, used to refer to people, animal, and things. So just a point to remind you here, guys, when we are using that to refer to people, yes, it is correct, but we want to refrain from it. We actually want to use who or whom rather than that to refer to people. So it's not incorrect, but please, if you are referring to people and you have to use your relative pronouns, try to use who or whom. And last day we discussed the difference between who or whom, and we understood that there's always a mix-up there. You know, it's very easy to get confused. So you just need to be mindful of the rules and apply those rules. Look for the rules in your sentences, and you will be able to identify and to know whether to use who or whom. So we said here, who, we know to use who if your noun can be replaced with he or she, and whom if your noun can be replaced with him or her. So just keep that in mind. Here I have just a couple sentences. We are going to open up the lines for those of you who were viewing last day and you did not miss any of that content taught. Here's your chance to use that knowledge. We have some sentences here. What we are going to do, we are going to read the sentences, look at how we can join the sentence, and consider which relative pronoun is most suitable to join that sentence. We have sentence 1 there. So I'm going to give you a chance to read it. Start dialing. Start gathering your thoughts. Even if you're not going to call us, please have your pens and your papers ready and write your answers down. If you even want to take these examples, you can do so for further use, probably later use, you want to use them. So you have number 1 there. And this here, you will see 2 separate sentences. We have, there's a woman, she always sits next to me on the bus. See, 2 very simple sentences. The idea of that lesson was to use relative pronouns to join your sentences. So now I have already joined that sentence for you. I just left out the relative pronoun for you to put, of course, but I have made it very simple. So I have, there's a woman, something, always sits next to me on the bus. So what do you think that relative pronoun should be? So if you had who, you are correct. And a hint here, how did I know to use who? She. We can replace she with who, as the rule clearly stated last day. Moving on to number 2. Now I wrote a book. It is being published in January. Again, 2 sentences. We want to use a relative pronoun to join those sentences. So the sentence reads now, the book something I wrote is being published in January. Great, we already have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Good evening, caller, and welcome. Okay, I think we lost that call there. Guys, just a note, when you are calling, please lower the volume on your TV sets. In addition, listen to us on the telephone rather than on the TV, right? So I'm reading number 2 again, probably going to leave that open there. So I wrote a book, it is being published in January. Now I want to join that sentence using a relative pronoun. So I have the book I wrote is being published in January. If you had the relative pronoun that, give yourself a little clap. You are correct. Now, last day I said that and which can be used interchangeably. However, we didn't know the difference between that and which. In this case, we chose that because it is specific. They are talking about a specific book that this person wrote. So we need to use that rather than which. Even if you chose which and you read that sentence, you will understand the difference, how it sounds to you, and that is a hint, that's a pointer to you. Well, I should use that rather than which. Try it at home. Read that sentence using which, and with that, and see which one sounds better. We have a call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results.
Good evening. The answer is that.
For number 2, right?
Yeah.
Great job. But since you're on the line with us, would you like to attempt number 3?
Hold on, please.
Sure. So I'm going to read that sentence for you, or sentences. That is the doctor. We met him last week. Now we want to join the sentence. We want to use a relative pronoun. That is the doctor, something we met last week.
Whom?
Say that again.
Whom?
Spell it for me.
WHOM.
What gave you an indication to use whom rather than who?
Because
What is your hint in that sentence?
the doctor.
Close, but your hint is actually him. Remember, if we can replace the noun, doctor, here is the noun, with him, then we choose whom. So you are quite correct. Thank you so much for calling. So I noticed there that caller had to, nothing is wrong with thinking about it. Of course, that's what you have to do to decipher your answer. But just in case you are doubting yourself, go back and look at that video with who and whom. It's very important. Please, you need to know the difference, right? Good. We have number 4. We have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi,
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Selena Ramkisoon.
Hi, Selena. So you are answering number 4 for us. You're going to read the sentences, and then you're going to read the new sentence and give us the joining relative pronoun there.
Okay. This is the old lady. The old woman's purse was stolen. So this is the old lady whose purse was stolen.
Excellent. Can you spell that for me?
WHOSE.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for calling. Right. Just want to point out here as well, guys. So the caller was correct. She said whose. This was just a hint from last week, not to be confused with whose. Sounds very similar, right? We have whose and whose. Your difference, whose here shows possession. In the case here, it's a lady's bag or old lady's bag. Possession with WHOSE. WHO apostrophe S is actually a contraction for who is. So please do not get that mixed up and just be mindful of that when you are writing whose. Thank you so much, callers. So we're going to hold the lines there a bit. Now we are going to start with our topic for today. So we're just concluding or wrapping up what we started last day. So now we are moving on our actual topic. So we are going to start with transition words. These are also connecting sentences using transitions. Here we are connecting sentences this time. How are we going to do it? We are going to use transitions. But this is a little different from what we just did. So I know in your mind you're already thinking, okay, I know what are transitional words or transitional phrases, and you know how to use them. But for those of you who do not know how to use them, listen carefully and watch closely, and hopefully you will get it by the end of this episode. If not, we are taking it really slowly with transitions. There are actually a lot of transitions and their uses. So we're trying to break it down a little bit so it wouldn't become too redundant for you all, okay? So first of all, we need to know what is a transitional word or transition words. What are transition words rather? And we should know that transition words give the writing a smooth flow and they help readers move from one point to the next. So by now, you should be listing out transition words for your parents. You should say, well, I know this one and that one and how I use it in a paragraph or how I use it in a sentence. And here, we are talking about transitions are words or phrases used to connect one idea to the next. So here, this is the use. This is the use of transitional words. This is the purpose of it. This is why we need to use it in our writing to make our writing smooth, to flow smoothly. It is important to know that different transitions function differently. And very shortly in the upcoming slide, you are going to see how different transitions function differently. As a result, you must have a purpose for selecting a transition. When you are choosing a transition word or transitional phrase, there should be a purpose behind it. You cannot just select a random transition. Remember, the purpose of a transitional word is so that you'll have a smooth flow of ideas. So if you just choose or just put in or throw in there a random transitional word, that chances of that might just make your sentences probably not so sensible, right? Or not so smooth in its flow. Now, this list here behind me shows a great use of transitional words. So we have transitional words to show addition. Then there are transitional words to compare or contrast. We have transitional words to indicate time. There are transitional words to indicate an example of something, to indicate a consequence or effect, to summarize, and to conclude. Now, if you are thinking, well, why do I need to use all of this? In fact, you do use them. You maybe do not realize, but you do use them. So in your introduction paragraph, in your narrative piece, you will use a transitional word. So you might say first, or then, or later. Somewhere in the middle, you might want to give an example. So you will say, for example, for instance. And then to wrap up your entire essay, you will say to conclude, or in summary, right? So you do use them. So when you are writing, you need to be mindful of all of these things. This is what makes a great writer, having knowledge and then using this knowledge and applying it in your writing. So we are going to start discussing transitional words to show addition. What do I mean by addition? Am I talking about mathematics? Not really, right? But in addition, in a sense, I'm adding more information. Right? So in your writing, you want to add information to whatever you are saying. You want to add to what the writer is putting down. Whatever he is doing, you want to say something else, but you don't want to say again and again and again, or then, later, later, later. And we have found that that's a very common error with students. They tend to repeat transitional words. Do not repeat your transitional words. This list is extensive. You have so many to choose from. Choose wisely, of course. But do not repeat them. Choose, different ones. All of these that you are seeing here can actually mean the same thing as to show addition. So if you are tired of saying of again, or and, or also, you can use furthermore, in addition to, additionally, moreover, next. All of these here says the same thing, which means to show addition. Now, if you are thinking, how do I use them in a paragraph? Now, here's your chance to see how to use transitional words to show addition in a paragraph. Here we have for you just a very simple paragraph with a couple highlighted transitional words, and you're going to see how they bring a smooth flow to this very simple piece of writing. So read it together with me. I have mangoes are my favorite fruits. I love how juicy they look when ripe. Moreover, I can't wait to bite into them after my grandfather brings them over to my house. Also, mangoes are a great fruit to make chow with, as well as delicious chutney to have with my grandmother's pilori. If you need a minute to read that over, that's no problem. Take your time. What I want to highlight for you here are the transitional words used. Remember, we are using transitional words to show addition or to add to what we are saying, right? To add information there. So look at this first sentence. Mangoes are my favorite fruit. I love how juicy they look when ripe. Then you want to say something else. You don't want to go back and say mangoes now. I can't wait to bite into mangoes. Here's another way to say that. Here's a transitional word you can use to quickly or smoothly move on to your next sentence. Moreover. We have moreover here, which means same as additionally. Remember, all of these words are like synonyms. I can't wait to bite into them after my grandfather brings them over to my house. Great. That's a smooth flow there. Now you want to say something else about mangoes. Are you going to use the word mangoes again? Now you can say also, additional information being given again, also mangoes are a great fruit to make chow with, as well as here. This here, so here's another use of mango. But I'm not going to say mangoes are a great fruit to make chow. First up, mangoes can make delicious chutney. I'm using my transitional words to connect my sentence and to have a smooth flow with my grandmother's pylori. So I know a lot of you at home probably getting a little hungry, or you are hungry and wishing you had some pylori and some delicious mango chutney, right? Well, I can't lie. I feel the same way right now. Good. So we have already talked about all the transitional, not all, but some transitional words that we can use if we want to explain or add some information to our paragraph. And we looked at a couple, very simple ones, common ones that we use all the time, but yet effective. And notice they are not repetitive. We are using different transitional words. Great. Now we are going to look at transitional words to compare and contrast. First of all, what does compare and contrast mean? Do you know? Compare and contrast. We use that all the time in our comprehension skills. You have to it's actually just like the word says. Compare, talking about two things, two or more things, and to contrast, to know the differences or their similarities. And whatever it is you probably like. So whether if you want to compare modes of transportation or hairstyles, for boys, different shoes, those things, right? All of those things, these are how, and these are words we are going to use to help us transition from one sentence to the next to get a smooth flow. So look at these words here. See if any of these look familiar to you. Have you used any of these before? We have although, despite, however, in comparison, in contrast. Yes, you can use the word in contrast, right? Or you can say to compare. Nothing is wrong with that. In spite of, instead, or instead of. Likewise, you can say nevertheless or nonetheless. On the other hand, similarly, notwithstanding, right? So all of these, again, these are transitional words you use when you want to compare and contrast. If you are comparing and contrasting, will you use a transitional word like addition? Will you add information to that? It depends on the context of your sentence. But you may not most likely use that word to actually compare or contrast. You might use it in a sentence to move from one idea to the next, but you will not use it to compare and contrast. So let's be mindful of that. Like I said, suitability is very important and key here. You must know when to use which transitional word. We have another piece here for you, another sample paragraph. Here we are going to show you compare and contrasting, and we are going to show you how to use it in the paragraph very simply. Read this paragraph with me. I probably should not have highlighted the answers. I know I was hoping some of you, could get it on your own, but nothing is wrong with that. You might be in agreement with me here. Tommy could not decide which toy to get for his birthday. On one hand, he missed riding his old bicycle and wanted a new one. On the other hand, he had never owned a skateboard before. He imagined being able to race his neighbor on his bike again. Likewise, the thought of doing tricks on a skateboard excited him. So some of you are getting excited by skateboards, right? You might want that as your Christmas gift or even a bicycle. Well, you have to work hard and show your parents that you are indeed working hard. So maybe you can probably get a little Christmas gift there, right? Or New Year's gift. Now let's look here and note how they use the transitional words. Or phrases. So Tommy could not decide which toy to get for his birthday. All well and good. Now we're going to say, what is his dilemma? What is his problem? What is in his mind, what is confusing him? So on one hand, he missed riding his old bicycle. So that's one idea there. They're comparing, right? And he wanted a new one. Then remember, on one hand there, it's dealing with one idea. On the other hand, suggests another idea. Okay, so notice those two things being compared there. He had never owned a skateboard before. He imagined being able to race his neighbor on his bike again. Likewise, the thought of him doing tricks on a skateboard excited him. So compare, contrast, right? Likewise there. So please note, very simple transitional words and phrases here that you can use in your writing once more. So that was easy. Great. I have another piece here. In this piece, it's going to show you how we can use both sets of transitional words that we learned today, so whether it's additional or transitional words to show comparison or contrasting. You're going to use it here, both of them now, in the same paragraph. It doesn't necessarily mean that only in your creative writing you're going to use one type of transitional words. No, that's not going to happen. Most likely that's never the case. But what we are really doing, we just want to show you and point out to you how you use it and when you use it. So let's look at this piece here. When Bobby makes a sandwich, he likes to use every topping in the refrigerator, whether it is ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, or jelly. There is nothing that he will refuse to put between the slices of bread. Furthermore, Bobby even said that he loves putting chocolate syrup on his sandwiches. All his friends think that his sandwiches are gross. Nevertheless, he still enjoys them. So we have two transitional words here. Only two, but I want you to know the difference. Do you know the difference? Which is for which? Look at this line here. Furthermore, so everything I just said about Bobby, he likes sandwiches and he loves all toppings. So his ketchup, mustard, mayo, jelly, whatever it is, right? So they listed a lot of toppings that he liked. But then they wanted to share another idea about Bobby. So to add to that, what they did, they used that transitional word furthermore. Furthermore is used to show addition. And yes, we can see that here because they go on to say, Bobby even said that he loves putting chocolate syrup on his sandwiches. That's another topping there that is adding additional information so the reader can see what else Bobby likes. And also it makes the writing interesting. If you're only using the subject Bobby or you're only saying later or then, it's going to be boring. Honestly, it's going to be boring. That's why we use transitional words. And your last transitional word here. All his friends think that his sandwiches are gross. Nevertheless, he still enjoys them. Nevertheless here. So, regardless of whatever they are saying, he still enjoys his sandwiches. So his friends think they are gross, but he just going to discard whatever they think, and he is going to go on and he's going to tell them that he enjoys these types of sandwiches, using that nevertheless there to show comparison or even contrast. Contrast rather. Right? Nice. So, you would have noticed that we only went through two types of transitional words. Now, not to only say two types, it is actually pretty lengthy and a lot of information was given. And you have a lot to learn. Your list, like I said, is very long. So put them to use. And if you are now learning them, write them down and practice using them in sentences first. And then you can probably move on to paragraphs. What I have behind me here just are some sentences. And in each sentence, there is a transitional word. And I want you, the caller, give me a call and read that sentence and identify for me the transitional word in that sentence. So look at the sentences carefully. And when you call me also, you're going to tell me whether it's addition or compare and contrast, okay? Now, these transitions are only based on what we did today, whether it's addition or to show compare and contrast. So read them closely. You should be suspended for your actions. Furthermore, you need to apologize to your teacher. What is a transitional word in that sentence? Right? Why did we use that transition? Good, we have a call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome.
Hi, good day. My name is Nicholas. I'm calling from the Vault in St. Joseph. The answer is furthermore.
Okay, and furthermore is what kind of transition word?
Well, furthermore is they're telling you on how, like you see where this person got suspended, right?
Right.
They had to say that you had to apologize to the teacher now.
Okay, so is furthermore a transition word to show addition, more information? Or is it a transitional word to show like compare and contrast? Are we comparing anything here?
No, you're not comparing anything.
So we are adding information. So furthermore is a transitional word that we can use to add more information about that child, right?
Yeah.
Thank
okay.
you, Nicholas.
Okay.
Okay, great. Always great to have Nicholas with us, okay? Always very jolly. Great, you have another call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Good
afternoon.
Hi, welcome to See Results. What's your name?
My name is Tashara Dila.
Nice to have you with us this evening. We are looking at number 2 here. Can you read that sentence for us as well as give us that transitional word?
Okay. I use water when making pasta.
Pasta.
Milk.
Okay. So I did not hear that too well, but can you just point out your transitional word for me there?
Okay.
What is your transitional word there? Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is another call. Good evening and welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so we are on number 2. I did not hear the answer for number 2 by the last call. I do apologize. So I'm going to give you a chance to read number 2 and point out the transitional word for us here, please.
The transitional word is whereas.
Whereas. And whereas, is it a transitional word that shows addition or is it a transitional word that shows compare and contrast?
Compare and contrast.
Thank you so much. Your answer is correct. So thank you, caller. Great response there. I use water when making pasta, whereas my mom uses milk. It's showing there difference between what she uses and what her mom uses. So to do that, I will use compare and contrast. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Good evening, and welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Miriam.
Hi, Miriam. We are looking at number 3. Can you point out your transitional word there?
The transitional word is in addition.
In addition. What does in addition show?
It shows, it adds addition to the sentence to show that the bus service will run on Sundays.
Yes, you are very correct. Is this Miriam from today, earlier today?
Yes.
Okay, Miriam, great to have you with us. Right. So the answer is correct there. In addition is a transitional word to show addition. So we have another call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller. Hi, caller. Good evening. Caller, good evening and welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
We are looking at number 4. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so we are on number 4. Can you point out your transitional word there for me?
Okay, so we're on number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is very brave, unlike her sister, who is shy.
Right.
The answer is unlike.
Unlike, is the word unlike showing addition or is it comparing or contrasting something?
Contrasting.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. Your answer is correct. Right, so you choose your transitional words wisely and you choose them in context with your sentence. We have one more sentence there. We'll see who's this lucky caller. Going to give us that answer for number 5. Meanwhile, those of you at home, please point out that answer for me. And while we are waiting, just to note, Miriam is from my school and she had a very good question for me today, which I'm going to share for you later on in our ELA program, okay? It concerns ELA. So stay tuned for that. We have a call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results.
Good evening.
Hi, welcome to See Results.
The answer for number 5 is Olu.
Okay, can I have your name, please, sir?
Samaya.
Nice to have you with us, and thank you for giving us that correct answer. So I love playing with dogs, although I am allergic to them. Right, guys, so that wraps up our transitional words for today, but that is not the end of our list. Let me just remind you, this here is our very long list of all the transitional words that we are going to be learning together. However, day by day, we are just going to choose probably 2, and we're going to go through it, and then we're going to do another topic, right? But each time that we do it, put it into practice immediately. Start using them in the classroom or at home. Get your practice in, guys. Right, so I just want to make sure we are not missing anything here. Great. We are just going to take a short break. When we come back, Seijas is going to join us right here. He's going to go through a few submissions with you. Those of you who submitted pieces, please look out for your names. I know it might be exciting for some of you. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to C Results on IBN TV. You are watching us live on IBN Channel 8 and also on the live stream on our Facebook pages. Okay, so one of the ways that we would like to promote this creative writing segment of the program is to actually get you all to write. Okay, Ms. Naila is doing a fantastic job in giving you all of the cues and the hints and the knowledge required to improve upon your writing, and we would really like if you all would put it to the test, right? Of course, primarily at school and in your assignments, and of course for the SEA exam when it rolls around in April next year. But we also are giving you an opportunity to make submissions weekly. All right, so currently we actually have a creative writing assignment that's posted online where you all have been given some very simple sentences, and you'd use the knowledge from last week's program to extend those sentences using your adjectives, your adverbs, as well as the 5 W's and the H. All right, so if you don't recall what I'm talking about, or if this is your first time joining us, I'm speaking to you parents especially, that you can take your kids onto our Facebook page, make sure they're supervised, and have them rewatch the episodes that they may have missed. All right, somebody suggested to us that we could also probably make a YouTube page, so we'll be looking into that as well, so that you can watch them, without the distraction of the rest of things going on social media. But, thankfully for now, we do have our videos backed up, and they will continue to be, even if we do launch the YouTube page, right on our Facebook page and our videos section, where you can rewatch any video that you'd like. And you can use this as a tool for when you're studying for your exam. All right, so in the previous week, or the week before last, Ms. Naila would have covered paragraph writing. Okay, so we did give you all an assignment to do on paragraph writing on our Edmodo page, and it was a little bit of information teasing from you, right? We wanted to get a feel for how you, the kids, and the parents, of course, because I assume that the parents would have some input in their interaction with us online, how you all felt about the program. All right, so Ms. Nyla said that a good paragraph should have a topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence, right? So we asked you all to write a paragraph with a clear topic sentence, supporting details, and concluding sentence on your opinion of the show, See Results on IBN TV, right? And many of you all submitted, and most of you all did a very good job. And you know what? It's okay if you didn't do so great. We would have left some feedback for you, right? So I hope that you take that feedback. You know, you don't feel any way about it if it's not 100% the way that we would have liked it to be, because this is the point of the show, to have you improve over time, all right? And so we did assign this, and some people did write in, and of course, we did say that if you had given us permission to use your name, we would use it. So in future, you can look out for messages from us, the pieces that we would like to highlight on the show. We will message you. We only selected 3 for today, you know, because we do have time constraints and so on. And one person got back to us and said, go ahead with his submission with giving his name, and we'll have 2 that will remain anonymous, because we don't want to make anybody feel shy or embarrassed or anything like that. And if we do use your name, you know, yes, nobody writes perfectly all the time. There will always be things that can be improved upon, so it's not anything derogatory, all right? It's actually us trying to be as constructive as possible. So we have our very brave guy, Sebastian Eccles, who is always doing our assignments the minute they are posted. He asks questions in the group. He is a very active participant. So I'm going to ask to go to this slide now so that you all out there can read along with me. He wrote an actually pretty long paragraph, right? A bit longer than you would typically want to use, but because the assignment was on paragraph writing, and we wanted a paragraph showing the 3 elements that we've discussed, the topic sentence, the supporting details, and the concluding sentence, he fit as many ideas as he could into this one paragraph, and we thank you for doing so, Sebastian. Right, so he said that See Results is a very educational and informative television program which premiered on IBN TV on Monday, 25th November 2019 at 5 p.m. All right, so Ms. Nyla underlined this part of the sentence to show that while this is a great topic sentence, he probably could have ended it after program and continued with it premiered on IBN TV and so on up until 5 p.m. So that was his topic sentence. What about the supporting details? The hosts of the program are Mr. Ijaz Ramsahai and Ms. Nyla Shah. Mr. Ramsahai usually teaches during the mathematics segment of the show, while Ms. Shah teaches English, language arts, and creative writing. Note that we've highlighted the while there to show that he is comparing this transition words that we just spoke about. He did this before, even we spoke about it on the program, all right? Because, of course, these are standard 4 and 5 students, and they are quite educated and informed already, so we are just here to supplement and to help. Okay, so he's showing that Mr. Ramsahai teaches the maths while Ms. Shah teaches the English and language arts. So instead of having those as 2 separate sentences, he used that transitional word there to join those ideas and compare. All right, both teachers possess pleasant personalities and explain the topics quite clearly. Right, these are his words, not ours. So the point of it was to give his opinion, and we thank you for that, Sebastian. They have the unique ability to make even the most challenging topics come to life and easier to understand. I eagerly look forward to an exciting and interesting learning experience every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Notice his usage of all of those adjectives, exciting and interesting. You know, he's giving you dates. And I am confident that See Results will help me improve in my schoolwork and prepare me to successfully write the SEA exam in 2021. And that is his concluding sentence. So that was our submission number 1. Thank you very much, Sebastian. Thank you to all those who would have submitted. All right, if you really, really, really would like for us to use your piece, you know, independent of what we think on any given assignment that we would have given, you can message us, right? You can message us on Edmodo, on our Edmodo page. You can message myself or Ms. Shah. You can even put it on the timeline. It's very similar in layout to Facebook with the timeline and so on, right? So you can make your post there and people can like and comment and so on, all right? We've had another quite good one right, which will remain anonymous because we were not contacted when we sent out our message asking permission, right? So IBN TV is very educational. This is the topic sentence. Now, there is a flaw here, and that the name of the program is See Results. The instructions were to talk about See Results. So although the rest of the paragraph is pretty much okay and in line with the instructions, right? This is just a small error. This program is on IBN TV, so that's great. And we do support and recognize his appreciation of that, right? Or her. But you need to be very meticulous when it comes to your instructions, all right? So perhaps you could have mentioned that the program is on IBN TV as a supporting detail. But moving along, it helps me learn and revise for my much anticipated exam, and it helped me in every subject I did for my test. All right, so in the ELA segment, we talk a lot about grammar and the grammar rules. So we're not going to do an in-depth grammatical analysis here. Perhaps some of the sentences could have been improved upon a bit, and we'll talk more about those topics in the ELA segment, right? But this is a supporting detail. It helped me gain 96% in my exams, and I would recommend it to everyone. Right? The grammar and the mathematics are the best. I understand everything they do, but I made little mistakes. All right? I'm guessing that he was talking there about doing the assignments on the website, or she. And I like See Results so much, I wouldn't even miss an episode. Now, this would have been a great time, or a great place to have ended it there as his concluding sentence, because if you read the following sentence, he says, my favorite subject is mathematics. Mathematics is the best subject in the world, right? So this, my favorite subject is mathematics, could be the start of a next paragraph where he goes on to explain more about his liking for mathematics as a subject, all right? So overall, well done, and we are happy that sometimes these little errors are made so that we can show you the do's and the don'ts, all right? And of course, if you want us to feature your name on the program while we do these pieces, look out for messages from us, as we would message from time to time, asking your permission to use pieces, all right? And again, you can volunteer your piece up front as well, no problem with that. And with that, we are going to go on a break now for the Maghrib Adhan. I will return after the Maghrib Adhan, and we have one more of these submissions to look at. I'll tell you all out there viewing for the first time some more about how to access our online class. And then we'll wrap up the first segment and get ready to have Miss Nyla back to teach you some English language arts today. All right, so we'll now be breaking for the Maghrib Adhan. I have been your teacher, Mr. Ijaz Ramsahai. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum, good evening, and welcome back to C Results on IBN TV and streaming on our C Results Facebook page. So we are currently in the creative writing segment and we are about to wrap up. We have been looking at some of your submissions from the week before last, and this is again a reminder for you parents out there to get your kids onto our Edmodo site, edmodo.com, and we do have an access code that's readily available on our Facebook page. You will find it there. There's also a link on the About section of our Facebook page where you can click on that website and it will take you to our page where you can register your child. You can even register yourself as a parent. And we do post weekly quizzes on the English language arts, on the mathematics, and the creative writing, which we will feature on the program in the following week. All right? We do a bit of a recap on a Monday on the results of the maths and the English assignments. And on a Tuesday, when we do creative writing, we will be going through some of your submissions. All right? So students have an opportunity to be put on the spotlight and for us to recognize the work that they are doing. All right? And this is what we are doing it for, to help the youth of the nation to improve and to become ready to be on equal footing when they enter the examination room on April 2nd of 2020. So we do have one more example to show in our creative writing from which was submitted. Again, this one, we would not have gotten back a response in time, whether to use the name or not. But nevertheless, this is a piece that was submitted, an actual piece of writing. And to remind you again, the instructions was to submit a paragraph on your opinion of C results with a clear topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence. Point to note, not every paragraph in your actual writing will have like a definite concluding sentence because some paragraphs may be required to cover a certain idea, but for this assignment, it's a standalone paragraph, so we expected there to be all of those items within the paragraph, all right? So this is one where a bit more improvement could have been done, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. We want you all to make mistakes now. Making mistakes now is good, right? So that when you do go into the exam room, whatever mistakes you may have made will inform you of what not to do in the exam, all right? So this student wrote, and we're going to zoom in here onto the screen, that on Monday, 2nd of December, 2019, I was doing free SEA classes on IBN TV. All right, so that's their topic sentence there for this paragraph. The writing style is a bit different in this one, right? I was doing maths with Mr. Ijaz Ramsahai at 5 p.m., and then they're beginning a sentence with and at 6, I did language with my language teacher, Miss Naila Shah. Okay, so there is in fact a topic sentence here, all right, stating that he or she was doing such, watching the free SEA classes on IBN TV, right, on Monday the 2nd, and some supporting details were given. I was doing maths with Mr. Ijaz Ramsahai, okay, at 5 p.m., and at 6, I did language with my language teacher, Miss Naila Shah. Now, we're not going to go into the analysis of the grammar, you know, because there are some grammatical mistakes in here. We'll leave that part for the English language arts, where Miss Naila does go into the rules a lot, right? So, but we really want to just get you all writing. The writing does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be 100% grammatically correct all the time. We want to get you challenging yourself with the concepts that we bring on a weekly basis, right? So we will forgive those sorts of errors for now as we become more and more prepared, right? We just want to test your knowledge or your application of the knowledge that we are trying to impart, which was, in this instance, on writing a standalone paragraph with a topic sentence and supporting details. So there was a supporting a topic sentence here in this paragraph, all right? And there were some supporting details. There is no concluding sentence, but more importantly, again, and we're coming back to this topic of instructions for any exam or for any quiz, any task, any assignment, any project, it is always critical to read the instructions properly, all right? The instructions were to write a paragraph with a clear topic sentence, details, and concluding sentence on your opinion of C results on IBN TV, all right? So she or he did not quite give us their opinion of the program. Rather, they would have stated some details about what they were doing at a particular time in relation to the show. So this is where the improvements could have been made, some more supporting details, and something ought to have been said about his or her opinion of the show as supporting details, what he or she likes or dislikes about the show, what was interesting, what wasn't interesting, and so on. And then at the end of the paragraph, we would have expected a concluding sentence to tie it all together. All right, so thank you, Sebastian Eccles, and our two anonymous pieces that we would have featured today for your efforts. Continue to make your efforts, continue to submit work, continue to do the assignments. Parents, please visit our Edmodo page. I'll give you, Miss Nyla will give you the link in the second segment, the access code. And it's also there on our Facebook page, as well as a link directly to click on in our About section that will take you to our page where you can do our challenges. If you haven't been up to speed with our videos are there on the Facebook page for you to rewatch at your leisure and to use as an aid in your studying. And we hope, as we continue to carry on with the program, that you'll become better equipped to sit your exam next year. We thank you all so much for the support. Continue to watch us every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday live from 5 to 7 p.m. You will see me again, God willing, on Thursday evening when I will continue with mathematics. And for now, we'll have Miss Nyla back at 6 p.m. to start English Language Arts for today. I have been your teacher, Mr. Ijaz Ramsahai. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back shortly.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and welcome back, folks, to See Results. I am Nyla once again. Thank you for joining me. Those of you out there at home relaxing, taking in the program, and those of you on our live feed on Facebook, welcome one and all. So now we are going to get into ELA. We just had creative writing. If you missed that, guys, don't forget you can go back and rewatch it. Now we are getting into ELA. Yesterday we had, and a couple days before, we started grammar. Grammar is actually task 3 in section 1 of the ELA paper for the SCA component, right? So what we are doing, we are going through each section and each task one by one. We are looking at it very closely and analyzing the errors and ways to correct that error. So we're not only going to give you the answer, we're going to show you why it should be the answer, right? So we're going to get straight into it right away. Yesterday, we did this task here, and I am on this because I just want to highlight something quickly. So this is what we completed yesterday, our grammar piece. I have had a student today come up to me and ask, we are looking at creation here, line 6. The student came up to me and she said, Miss, well, when you put creation, I actually had creativity. So the error here was creative, and she said that she had creativity. Creativity. Now, she asked, well, am I wrong? No, you are not wrong. So I told her that your answer is still correct. However, I failed to mention that in this case, you can either have two answers here. So you can have creation or creativity. So if you look at the sentence, tourists are amazed by the spectacular display of colors and creative during the carnival celebrations. We replaced the word creative with creation. But in her case, she had creativity, and I wanted to do this especially. I know there are some other students who may have had creativity. I didn't want to put any doubt in you. I am so happy that the child brought this up, and she was very confident. Her name is Miriam. She was very confident in coming up and asking that question. And I was appreciative of that, because I wanted to highlight that in addition to creation, you could have had the word creativity. Both are nouns, and both could have been used in this case. So thank you, Miriam, for highlighting that and bringing that to my attention. So today, similarly, we are going to do grammar once again. We are on section 1, task 3. Similarly, just as the grammar you just saw, this is what we are doing. Those of you who are new to the show, thank you for joining us, and look at what we are doing here. There is one grammatical error in every line in the passage below. Underline each error and write the correct version in the box provided. Point to note, this task is actually out of 12 marks. Each line is with 2 marks, so you are awarded 1 mark for highlighting the error and 1 mark for putting the correct answer in the box provided. So look at this piece closely, and as I tell you every day when you are reading, whether it's your spelling task, your punctuation and capitalization, grammar, comprehension, poetry, graphic, read each piece carefully, read it twice, and then start working on it. Do not just jump into it. Remember, we want to get maximum. Marks. We don't want to make a little careless error here and there, and that's the cause of us forgetting 98 instead of 100. So let's look at this piece here. Let's read it together. The teacher, in addition to her students, visit the Carney Bird Sanctuary. The children neither fear the swamp or the snakes who curl overhead on the branches. Everyone excited takes photos of the swamp creatures. Since the trip is long, they enjoy themselves thoroughly. Of the students, Sam is the only one who suffers with nausea. So the lines are not open as yet. I know some of you are really excited to call, but we are just going to go through this. I'm going to give you the answers, and like we always do, we are going to analyze those answers after, and there will be an activity for each rule or each rule that we learn. So let's look at line 1. So I'm giving you a little time on your pieces of paper home. If you want to even draw your boxes, make it fancy, no problem in that. So what you have to do, look at that line, and you're going to point out the error as well as put the correct answer there for me. So line 1 says, the teacher, in addition to her students, visit the Carney. Now, what is your error there? What did you choose? Look at the sentence closely. It's very tricky, I might add. It's very tricky. But if you selected visit as your error, you are quite correct. And what should your answer, in fact, be? It should be visits. Shortly, you are going to find out why it is visits rather than visit. Moving on to line 2. Bird sanctuary. The children neither fear the swamp or the. Again, once more, look at it closely. At first sight, it appears that there isn't actually an error. In fact, there is an error. Your error there is or. What should it be? No. And a lot of you already know the reason for this. If you do, or if you don't, no problem with that. Line 3. Snakes who curl overhead on the branches, everyone. Here, some of you are thinking, who. If you did, and if you chose who, correct once more. So it should actually be that or which. Can have either answer for this line, and you will see why again shortly. Excited takes photos of the swamp creatures since the trip is. What is your error? Have you gotten all three answers so far? And if you chose excited, add that to your list. Should be excitedly. Adverb. Moving on. Long, they enjoy themselves thoroughly. Of the students, your error here, grammatical error, sorry, not thoroughly, should be themselves, should in fact be themselves. Great so far. If you have all of those answers, give yourself a little clap. And then we have our final line, which reads, Sam is the only one who suffers with nausea. Now, I know this can be a little tricky, especially this one here. You're thinking, what is my answer? I'm not seeing anything wrong there. Look closely, guys. Read it very closely. If you selected with, you are correct. And it should actually be from. So this is the easy part, where you have to highlight that error and you have to put in the correct answer. Now, the more difficult part is actually learning the rules and applying them. You need to apply the rules once we learn them. So far, we have come across at least 8 different rules. And all of those you need to learn. Trust me, you need to learn it. Good. So now we are going to analyze the answers line by line, or answer by answer. The first answer, or the error, was visit. Instead, we chose visits. So the sentence says, or the line rather, the teacher, in addition to her students, visit the colony. It should actually be the teacher, in addition to her students, visits the colony. Why visits and not visit? You're probably thinking, well, I'm seeing here students, right? So if it's a plural subject, you must take a plural verb. Well, while that is correct, that is not the case here. Our subject is, in fact, singular, the teacher. Here we have what we call an intervening phrase, right? An intervening phrase, just additional information there. In such cases where we come across intervening phrases in our sentences, we always use the subject, the first subject there, and it must agree with the verb. So your subject is singular. Hence the reason visits is singular. And for those of you who are now joining us for the first time, visits here, you are seeing an S. But we know verbs, singular verbs end with S. Plural verbs do not end with S. So let's get some practice in that subject-verb agreement. Now, that is called intervening phrases. You do not necessarily need to learn that term, but you do need to be able to identify the phrase when you see it, right? And I'm sure a lot of them are coming to your mind. And if not, in a couple moments when you see them, they definitely will ring a bell. So let's look at the rule here, general rule. When the following words are the connecting words that join two subjects, then the verb used will be according to the first subject. Might be a little confusing upon the first read, but what this is actually saying, the following words, we are going to see the following words now, that is on the other slide, are the connecting words. Just as we had the teacher, in addition to, those are your connecting words there, that join two subjects. So we had two subjects, we had the teacher, we had the students. Then the verb used will be according to the first subject. Your first subject in that line was the teacher. That was your first subject. So here now, what you are seeing are some examples of these types of phrases or words that will connect sentences, or what we call intervening phrases. So we have all of these you may be accustomed to, but the ones that you're more accustomed to will be like along with, accompanied by, in addition to, as we just saw with the teacher, as well as together with. Now these are only a few There are actually a lot, right? So you need to be familiar with some of these, and you need to be able to recognize it. You know, if you don't know them by heart, that's not a problem. But when you are reading your sentence, you should be able to recognize it in context. It will become very familiar to you once you start practicing it. So let's take a look at some of the examples here and see if we can identify some of these phrases. Help you to get adjusted to this new rule that you just learned. So we're just going to zoom up that a little bit on the screen there. Right, so the kitchen, as well as the hall, was or were soaked. And you are seeing here that I selected was, the helping verb was. Our subject here, we have the kitchen. Actually, we have two subjects. We have the hall. But remember, this here, our connecting words, our intervening phrase. So we are not going to take this as our subject. We are not taking as well as the whole. We are going to go with the first subject. So the first subject was the kitchen. We have the kitchen here, which is the first subject, and that must agree with our verb. So the kitchen, is that singular? Is that plural? And you would have said singular, it's one kitchen. The kitchen and your singular helping verb here will be was. So in your mind, to help you, what you can read it as, the kitchen was soaked. Doesn't that become easier for you once you read it like that? That does not mean we are going to leave out this intervening phrase. We are not doing that. What we are actually doing, we're just going to look at the first subject and just read it together with the verb to help it make sense to you. And as long as you become familiar with that rule, then you do not no longer need to do that. Right? Let's look at the second sentence. Miss Joy, in addition to her staff, is or are absent. And you'll notice there that your verb is. First, let's highlight our subjects. We have Miss Joy, that's one. Her staff, the staff here. So we have two different subjects, but we are going with the first subject. So Miss Joy is absent. And if you read the entire sentence, Miss Joy, in addition to her staff, is absent. So notice here, in addition to her staff, is the intervening phrase or connecting idea there. Let's read number 3. The men, together with the women, play football. Why did we choose play? Look at this case here. We have the men. Is that singular? Is that plural? Please don't let that throw you off. The men together with the women. Again, plural. That P there stands for plural. So we have a plural subject. Actually, we have two plural subjects here. A plural subject is followed by a plural verb. We already know that. So now what we are going to do is apply that same knowledge in this case. So we have two plural subjects. Still going to go with the first subject there. And we chose play. The men play football. We wouldn't say the men plays football, right? We know the subject is plural and our verb is plural. So, nice. So here now, I have a few sentences, and I'm going to open up the lines and allow students to call and give us your answers there. Just look at it closely, read them. So you're free to call us and give us your answers. This is just like what we just did with intervening phrases there. You need to be mindful of your subject or subjects and which verb you should choose. And which subject is the verb going to agree with. Right? I just have one thing to point out before that. Okay, actually I did, where I said the woman was plural, right? I just wanted to make sure. Great, so now here we have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, caller, welcome to See
Number
Results.
1 is wishes.
Wishes. Why wishes?
Because Fred is not plural, it's singular.
Very good. And are we going to look at like most of his classmates there?
No, you're looking at the first person because there's a rule for it. Like you see how you have those phrases like most, together, etc.
Yeah.
Right? You always look at the former of it, and like if the former is singular, you use a singular verb. If the former is plural, you use a plural verb.
Excellent job. Is this Nicholas?
Yes.
I love your confidence, Nicholas. Thank you so much for your call.
Okay.
Okay, great. So Nicholas very confident, and he also has the right answers all the time, right? So that's really good work there, Nicholas. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, what's your name?
Zafira Bash.
Nice to have you with us today. So we are on number 2 right now. Can you identify for me the correct verb? Correct form of the verb?
Eat.
Say that again for me.
Eat.
Spell it.
E-A-T-S.
Excellent job. Why eats?
Because it's...
Which subject are we looking at here?
The subject.
Very good. This is your subject as well as with the theme. But we are always looking at our first subject to decipher whether to use eat or eats. Thank you so much for that call. So great job so far, okay? We are on number 3. I'm going to take this other call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Shakri Xavier.
Hi, nice to have you with us. We are on number 3 now. Can you help us with number 3?
Yes.
Okay.
The answer will be is.
Tell me why.
Because Greg is a singular noun, and along with his cousins is removed.
Very good. Thank you so much for that call. So I want you all to note here, yes, we have 2 subjects. We have Greg and we have his cousins. So we have his cousins here being plural. But remember, we are not looking at the second subject. We are referring to the first subject. This here along with here, that is your intervening phrase, or that's your connecting ideas over there. Let's move on to number 4 with this other caller. Good evening, caller. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Michaela.
Hi, Michaela. So are you going to answer number 4 first?
Yes.
Okay. What is your answer here?
Visit.
S or no S?
S.
Very good. Why S? Or why visits?
Because it's one president.
Very good. And are we going to look at the senators?
Huh?
Are we going to look at accompanied by his senators? Are we looking at that phrase?
No, because you're going with the first.
Subject.
Yeah.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for your call. As this caller rightfully said, likewise, we have 2 subjects here, but we are going with the first subject. Also note your second subject was plural. We are not going to go with plural. We are going with the first subject. Great. We have one more answer there. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Shakri Xavier. Okay.
Okay. Hi, nice to have you again with us. So can you answer number 5 for us?
Yes.
Okay, what's your answer here?
Narrates.
Narrates. Why narrates?
Because the victim is singular and leave out the intervener phrase.
Very good. Thank you so much for that call. Excellent explanation as well. Right, so we're just going to hold up on the lines there as we don't have any more questions to answer right now, but we will shortly, of course. This last sentence here, the victim, that subject is singular, and we have assisted by her lawyers being plural. Once again, this is an intervening phrase. We are not going to go with that. We are going with the first subject. So excellent job there, guys. I do hope you use it, in your writing, and you use the correct form of your verbs in your subject-verb agreement. Your second error here was actually or, and we changed or to nor, simply because neither is followed by nor and either is followed by or. Even if you knew that, but that slipped you, be very careful, guys. So either or might sound correct, but it's actually neither nor, and it's either or. So just be careful with that. So now we're just going to go through the rule associated with neither nor, and of course, either or. So the structure neither nor is used to connect the same kind of words or phrases in a sentence. So neither makes a negative statement about 2 people or things. So when we say negative, we don't mean bad. We're just talking about that it may not exist or it may not be there. Right? So let's look at the sentences here to get a clearer idea. We have here, and number one is just how neither nor can be used in a sentence. You are neither fat nor short. Number two here, look at it more closely. Neither Jack nor Tom is my brother. Notice my choice of verb. Neither Jack nor Tom. We have Jack being singular and Tom being singular. Singular subject always takes a singular verb. Is my brother there? So, and then we have neither he nor his friends are coming. This here is not like what we just did with intervening phrases. This is very different. Look at this closely. We have neither he nor his friends are coming. Now, we are not going to go with the first subject in this case. If you have, as in this sentence, neither he nor his friends, we have two subjects here. We have he, which is singular, and we have his friends here, which is plural. But what type of verb did we use? We used a plural verb. Why did we use a plural verb? Simply because we are going, the verb must agree with the subject that is closest to the verb. Let me say that again. The verb must agree with the subject closest to the verb. So yes, we have two subjects here, he and we have his friends. But in this case, we are looking at the subject closer to the verb here. So this subject must agree with your verb. This one, number two, is different, where you have singular verbs, so you know to use a singular subject. If you had plural verbs, then you will use a, if you had plural subjects, then you would use a plural verb. Or even subjects, if you had two, you would use a plural verb. But in this case, with number three, you have neither he nor his friends are coming. Here, he is a singular subject, his friends is a plural subject. But your verb must agree, your subject must agree with your verb. Hence the reason we chose are instead of is. It's agreeing with his friends. Right? And then, of course, we have either or. Either or is used to connect things of the same type. So phrases, clauses, or even words. You can either come home with me now or walk home. This is how we use either or in our day-to-day writing. But what is more important, as in number two, we must know the subject-verb agreement. We must know which verb to use there. So let's look at the sentence closely. We have one subject, Brian, which is singular, one person. So singular subject will take a singular verb. So Brian either walks or drives. Simple enough. But look at number three. Either my father or my brothers are coming. My father here, singular, one father. Or my brothers. Brothers here is actually plural. Now, which verb are we going to choose? Are we choosing is or are we choosing are? And we chose are. Now, you need to know why we chose are. And we did choose are because, remember that your verb must agree with your subject closest to it. So your verb here, which is are, must agree with your subject closest to it, which is my brothers. Plural subject, plural verb. I hope you understood that well. And here's a chance for you to call once more. The lines are open. You're going to call us, and you are going to give us the correct form of the verbs. Of course, your verb must agree with your subject. Look at it closely. We are doing sentences using neither nor and either or. So it's just as we just explained, keeping in mind that the verb must agree with the subject closest to it. So we're going to read number one. So we have neither the boy nor the girl has or have the courage to speak. Great, we already have a call on the line. Hi caller, good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
Hi, what's your name?
I'd like to answer a question.
Sure.
The answer for number one would be neither the boy nor the girl has the courage to speak.
Has or have?
Have.
Spell it.
H-A-V-E.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop you there, and I'm going to show you why it is not have, but in fact has. Remember, We have two subjects here. When using neither nor or either or, your subject and verb must agree. And we are looking at the subject closest to the verb. So here we have the first subject, which is singular. We have the second subject, which is also singular. Both subjects here are singular. A singular subject is followed by what? Caller, are you there? Okay. So he left, but I hope you are listening. Singular subject is followed by a singular verb. And your singular verb in this case is has. Notice both subjects are singular, so it is followed by a singular verb. Look at number 2. Okay, we have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Good evening. My name is Roshna Hassan.
Hi, nice to have you with us. So we are on number 2 now. Can you give us the correct answer for number 2?
The correct answer for number 2 is plays.
Spell it.
Plays.
Excellent job. Why plays?
Because Jim
Yes.
and Jay is singular.
Both Jim and Henry there are singular subjects, which means we need a singular verb. Excellent job, and thank you for that call. So the caller before who answered number 1, please pay attention to number 2 there. It's very similar to number 1, where you have both subjects being singular and you have a singular verb. We have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Hello, good night.
Hi, what's your name?
Hello,
Hi, what's your name?
my name is Nicholas.
Nicholas. Okay, great. Number 3.
Number 3 is neither the man nor the woman want to attend the meeting.
Okay, hold on. Read over that slowly and carefully. You made a little error there. Neither.
Oh, neither the men
Right.
nor the woman want to attend the meeting.
S or no S?
No S.
Excellent job, Nicholas.
Okay.
Right, you see why it's very necessary that you take your time and read your questions, right? That can, make you get a 1 mark less. Both your subjects here, plural. Men, plural. Woman, plural. Your verb here will be plural. Right, guys? I hope you are following there. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Good evening.
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Lionel.
Nice to have you with us. We are on number 4 now. Can you give us the answer for number 4?
Okay. Either Eve or Anne are pulling my leg.
Okay. Don't go as yet. We have either Eve or Anne. You said pulling my leg. Now, why did you say
Because we are talking about Eve or Anne. We are talking about 2 people.
Right, but they didn't say and. They said Eve or Anne. Eve is Eve singular or is Eve plural?
Singular.
Singular. Anne. Is Anne singular or plural?
What do you say?
Is Anne singular or plural?
Singular.
Right. So remember, in these types of sentences where it's followed by neither nor or either or, you are going to have 2 subjects. So you have Eve being one subject and being another subject. So you need to know that a singular subject, remember both subjects are singular, not because we have 2 subjects, we make them plural. Both subjects are singular, so we use a singular verb. So in fact, we should really be using is instead of are. So I hope I'm just going to go through this again. So with either Eve or Anne is pulling my leg. So we have Eve being singular, Anne is also singular. Not because we have 2 subjects there, we are going to make it plural. Remember, we are using either or. Right, guys? That's the difference there. So your subject, both of them are singular, your subjects that is. So a singular subject is followed by a singular verb. Great. We are on number 5 now. Caller, welcome.
Hi,
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Selena.
Hi, Selena. So number 5, can you give us the answer for number 5?
Neither the teacher nor the students were in the classroom.
Excellent job. Why were?
Because the students is plural and the verb takes the subject closer to it.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for that call. And for those of you who got number 4 or number 1 incorrect, or any of these as a matter of fact, pay attention to number 5. Neither the teacher nor the students was or were in the classroom. First thing you need to do, you need to point out your subjects in your sentence. Teacher there, the teacher, is actually singular. A little error there. Singular. And then your second subject, the students, is actually plural. So if you have one subject being singular and one subject being plural, you need to go with the verb. You need to go with the verb that is closest to the subject. So notice the students is closer to the verb rather than the teacher. So we have the students were. This is a plural subject here, hence the reason we need a plural verb. One more time. The teacher here is singular. Your second subject, the students, is plural. But in these cases where you're using neither, nor, or either, or, you always go with the subject closest to the verb. Here your subject is closest to your verb. It's right next to your verb. Your subject is plural, hence the reason we chose were. Were is the plural form of the verb in this case. So it will be neither the teacher nor the students were in the classroom. Right, guys? Don't worry yourselves. I am going to post a little probably assignment with that little task so you can evaluate your skills after you have watched the entire episode and probably rewatched it if you need to. So now we are on line number 3. We had your error here being who. Now, instead of who, we said that or which. We just covered relative pronouns in creative writing. So if you were looking at creative writing earlier, you know that we just spoke about relative pronouns. Who, whom, whose, that, or which. Here, your error is who. It should actually be that or which. You have 2 answers. But I just want to point out to you here why it's not a who. Snakes cannot be a who, right? That or which. Who we refer to? People. That or which can refer to animals or objects. Just bear that in mind. So if you missed that episode or that segment just now in creative writing dealing with relative pronouns, please feel free to go back and look at that, revise your relative pronouns, and you need to know when to use which relative pronoun. In this case, you could have either used that or which. Either one will be suitable. So that sentence will now become, the children neither fear the swamp nor the snakes, that or which curl overhead on the branches. Right, guys? Good. We are on to line 4. Line 4 there. Your error in this case, we pointed out to be excited. And we changed it to excitedly. Excited here, everyone excited takes photos of the swamp creatures. Why is it excitedly rather than excited? Right? Your verb, not your verb, actually your word here, your adverb, excitedly will take the place of excited in this case. We have been speaking about formation of nouns, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives. So this is where this comes into play. Yesterday we did a short summary of it, and we even gave you a chance to call and use those words from the base form to form an adjective, a verb, and even an adverb. So right, guys, also if you missed that, you know what to do. I'm just going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with the rest of this task. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with C results. Assalamu alaikum, good evening, and welcome back to See Results right here on IBN. You are live with Miss Nyla, and you're also live on Facebook. Well, those of you who are streaming from Facebook on our See Results page, and those of you at the comfort of your home, welcome to one and all. So right before the break, we were doing task 3 in our section 1 paper of the ELA. So we have already started this task here, and so far we identified 4 errors as well as the correct answers. For each error that we identified and the correction of that error, we went through the answer and analyzed very critically why and how it should be that answer, right? So now we are on the 5th answer there. We are coming close to the end of this task, so we're going to continue analyzing. Before I move on there, if you are now joining us, probably just got home and you missed it, I'm just going to do a little recap here. Here, your first error was visits, and it should actually be visits. And then in your second line, your error there was or, should in fact be no, as neither is followed by no and either is followed by or. Your line 3, snakes who, snakes not a who, so we know it's that or, which, using correct relative pronouns. Line 4, excited, the word excited here is actually an adjective, which should be used as an adverb there to describe the feelings, the manner in which or how everyone was feeling at that point in time. Now we are on to line 5. We said the answer, sorry, not the answer, but the error here, in fact, was themselves. It should, in fact, be themselves. Now, why is it themselves? Some of you might already know. Great. And it should be themselves rather than themselves, because you should know when to use the correct reflexive pronouns. There are lots of different types of pronouns, some of which we already started going through with your subject and your object and so on, now and your relative. So now we are going to go through reflexive pronouns. So a reflexive pronoun or reflexive pronouns are used when the subject is the same as the object. So your subject and your object of the sentence should be the same. Look at these examples we have provided for you here. We drove ourselves home from the picnic. We drove ourselves home from the picnic. We here, your subject pronoun, takes the form of the reflexive pronoun ourselves. Here, she dried herself with a warm towel. She, and you have the reflexive pronoun herself, which comes from she. They spend hours looking at themselves. We have they, and we have themselves in the mirror. Now, do not be alarmed, do not get worried. We are going to look at this table here, very comprehensive, very easy for you to understand how you can identify your subject pronouns and how to use them as your reflexive pronouns. So note here, your subject pronouns, you have I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. All of the subject pronouns that we just identified in the previous sentences. But then we had to know how to use them in the reflexive form. If you're doing something to yourself, you use it in the reflexive form. Your reflexive pronouns, we have I, which agrees with myself. You have you, yourself. We have he, himself. She, herself. You say it, itself. We, ourselves. You, yourselves. And you have they, themselves. Hence the reason the answer for, in the passage here in line 5, was not themselves, because they said they used the subject pronoun they, which we know it's plural. So themselves there, that's your indication that you have to use the correct reflexive pronoun to agree with your subject. See how important subject-verb agreement is on your subject and knowing all these different types of pronouns are. Do not take it for granted, guys. You're always going to be tested on these types of things. Nice. So that there, before this, was just a very simple, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek again. So you can, when you call in, you will have a clear understanding to answer the questions that's coming up next. So just refresh your memory on the different reflexive pronouns and how to use it, right? Now, we're going to open up the lines. You're going to read that sentence, and you're going to give us the correct form of the reflexive pronoun for each sentence. So in number 1, I have, I was in a hurry, so I washed the car. Your subject is I. Your object is I. It's all about you there. So what is your reflexive pronoun? I was in a hurry, so I washed the car. What? What is your reflexive pronoun there that agrees with the subject, I? Number 2, you're going to drive something to school today. Great, you have a call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results. Hi, can you turn on your volume a little bit, please? Thank you.
What you say?
Okay, so we're looking at number 1. So can you give me the correct reflexive pronoun there for number 1?
Myself.
Myself. Are you sure about that? That's a trick question, okay? Don't get frightened, don't get scared. Thank you so much for calling and giving us that correct answer. Be confident in your answers. That's the only reason why I asked if you were sure, okay? I need you to be confident. So I was in a hurry, so I washed the car. Myself. Correct use of the reflexive pronoun there. We have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Good afternoon.
Hi, nice to have you with us. What's your name?
My name is Tashara Dela.
Okay, so we are looking at number 2. Can you complete the sentence for me?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You're going to drive yourself to school today.
Excellent job. Yourself. Thank you so much for calling. So once again, correct use of your reflexive pronoun. I have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, welcome to See Results.
Hi, good day.
Hi.
My name is Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. Number 3.
The answer for number 3 is the bird washed itself by splashing in the puddle.
Excellent job, Nicholas. Thank you so much. Once again.
Thank you.
Right. Number 4. We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Miriam.
Okay, nice to have you with us. So we are looking at number 4 there. The children clean their room all by?
Themselves.
Say that again?
Themselves.
Excellent job. Why themselves and not themselves? Why is it themselves and not themselves?
Because them is plural, so we use themselves.
Excellent job. We have the children. That's your first hint there. It's plural. Clean their room all by themselves. Excellent job, guys. One more. We have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Zachary.
Okay, Zachary. Are you going to give us the answer for number 5?
Yes.
Okay. We
The
bake
answer will be ourselves.
our
Selves.
self or selves.
Selves. V-E-S.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for that call. So we, once again, it's plural, bake the cake by ourselves. So must note your reflexive pronoun must be in agreement with your subject. Okay, guys, we're going to ease up on the calls there a little bit until our next activity. Great. Lastly, we are on our final line here. We had Sam is the only one who suffers with nausea. And with nausea. So we actually changed with to from. Now, why did we change with to from? So there's no specific rule per se for this. However, what you need to know, you wouldn't say suffer with, we say suffer from. So you'll suffer from a disease. So in your writing, when you are writing, try not to say suffer with, but just simply suffer from. Right? It's as simple as that. Nice. So we have come to the end of that task there, and we went through quite a lot of rules And I hope that, you know, you did pay attention and you did write down or jot down all those little pointers that I gave you all when answering these passages in your task, of course, right? A lot of little things there that can slip you, a lot of little errors that's easy to go by. Remember, we do not want to miss, we don't want to lose any marks. Each mark is very important here. So what I have behind me now is another task. So all we are going to do, you're just going to call me and you're probably just going to give me the answer there. But we're not going to go through these answers critically as yet, as we did with the last task and the previous and so on, simply because we are going to be out of time shortly. So what we want to do, what we can do probably today, we're just going to look at this task and we're going to answer this, identify the error and identify an answer or give the correct grammatical answer there. And then next day, we can move on to critically analyze those errors. So first things first, you must read your task carefully. So here, we're going to read it together, and then we're going to open up the lines so that you can call us. Of the two islands, Tobago is the most tourism-oriented. Many interesting sites exist. Visitors are treated with courtesy, but the streets are litter-free. Sea diving, along with hiking, continue to be popular. Tourists are amazed by the skillful of local craftsmen. Their creativity can be seen in the use of natural materials, what are abundant on the island. I'm just going to give you a minute there. Look at this closely. Okay, we have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Welcome, caller. Hi, good evening.
Welcome, caller. Hi, good evening.
Can you kindly turn on your volume a notch? Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to See Results.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
My name is Cyrus Vincent.
Okay, nice to have you with us. So we are looking at the first line there. Can you give me the answer? Or first you need to identify the error and then give me the correct answer. So you have two things to do there. So what is your error in line 1?
The error is most.
What should most really be?
More.
More. Excellent job. Have you been viewing before? Is this your first time with us?
I have been viewing before.
Right, so then you should be able to tell me why is it more rather than most?
Because there are two islands and you're talking about one.
Excellent job. There's a specific word that I'm looking for that I need you there when we are comparing things. Two things, we use a specific form of the word. It's called what?
Comparative and superlative.
Yes, but in this case, it will be your comparative form. So thank you so much for that call. For those of you who missed that episode, I'm going to go back some other time when we're doing our next task, because I'm sure more questions like this is going to come up. And, of course, we will go through that again. We have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Hi, caller. Good evening. Welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
I would like to change more. I would like to change exist to exist without the S.
Excellent job. Why is that?
Because exist is plural and sight is plural, so it has plural, so it's to go together.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for that call, and you have rightfully explained that very well. Unfortunately, guys, we are almost out of time. I just have a few minutes left, and I have to. So that task that we were just doing, of course, we're going to complete it on our next ELA session. But before I go, I just want to remind you that your Edmodo code is up. There has been a change in the code, so this is only for new participants. If you are now joining the Edmodo app, this is your new code here. If you have already joined, you already had submissions and so on, you are fine. Do not need to worry. Your code remains the same. You do not need to use that again. Or nor do you need to put in this new code. This code is only for new participants. So the instructions are up on our SEA results page. Follow it very closely. And the instructions are simple, where parents can join the group or even students to monitor. So parents, you can monitor what your child is doing, and students, you can monitor your own progress. So the instructions, this very slide is up on our SEA results page. Please go and check it out, as well as those of you viewing live on Facebook. Share this video to your friends, families, neighbors. Share it, and those of you at home and you would like to re-watch this video, you can simply watch a replays every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday right here on IBN from 5 to 7 p.m. And Facebook people, I did not forget you. You can re-watch those videos right on our SEA results page. Just hit videos and click that button there, and you will be able to re-watch the video once this segment is over. I have been your host, Nyla, and I thank you so much for joining me and all the calls and all the support, guys. It has really been great and beneficial to both me and to students, I am sure. Thank you, and please join us on Thursday. We have mathematics and we have creative writing. Thank you, guys, and see you all on Thursday.